Tom Brady having number 7 sealed? I think it has to be brought up, and I wanted to ask this question for people to respond to. And then I was going to give my answer. So I put out a question of, is Tom Brady the greatest athlete of all time? And I think when I asked this question, I think some people maybe didn't understand what I was trying to ask. Like, the term athlete's different, right? Everyone can sit there, like, when you hear some of these answers, you're going to understand why. But the term athlete is athletic, fast, strong, built. I think people use the terms different than how I'm using it. Like, so, for example, again, I asked, is Tom Brady the greatest athlete of all time? When I'm asking this question, I'm asking as in, like, the 4 major sports and the U.S. team sports, okay? I'm not asking soccer. I'm not, like, because soccer is very international. I get that football can be international too. I understand all that. But you all get what I'm trying to say. I'm not a soccer expert, so I can't say. But, so I'm talking about basketball, baseball, hockey, and football. Is Tom Brady the greatest of all the major sports? Based on his wins, what he's done, the era. Let's talk about that. Let's go into the poll that I did first. So, of about almost 60 votes, 35% said yes, and 65% said no. Some of these answers that I had. At Joe Wandy 13 says, great quarterback of all time, but I just can't bring myself to call this guy the greatest athlete. And then he had a picture of Tom Brady as a draft day pick. Now listen, Tom Brady is an athlete. So people don't want to sit there and say, he's not an athlete. Like, he's an athlete. He plays a sport. Okay? Athletes play sports, no matter what position. So but people want to say, no, he's not an athlete like Lamar Jackson. Well, duh, Lamar's, like, fast. Like, most athletic, yeah, no doubt Lamar is more athletic than Tom Brady, duh. But when it comes to his, like, Tom Brady on draft day, like, if you were to look at this dude on draft day and say, yeah, he's gonna win 7 Super Bowls for you if you draft him, or 6 if you draft him. Like, what? That's impossible. He looked like he looked like a bum. Looked like he was lost and like he was supposed to be actually taking the pictures for the guys during the draft day. Anyways, next, at Beast No Multimedia says, but he's one of them. So I'm guessing he put no in the survey, but he's one of them. So he's one of the greatest athletes of all time. Okay. Well, okay. So we'll go with that. Steel Curtain PEH says, team sports person. There's too many, I guess he's correcting, there's too many big-time Olympians and even individual sports people like Serena. For me, the greatest athlete of all time. So he's saying that Serena Williams is the greatest athlete of all time. That what he's saying, I could be wrong, but that's what he's saying. Now again, I probably should have rephrased this question a little better. I'm not gonna lie about that. But yeah, so I think I'm talking about like team, like pushing a team to victory, what they do on the field, on the court, on the ice, on the baseball field, whatever it is. Yeah. NFL and you put a GIF of MJ dunking on a basketball, which I'll go into that in a little bit. Ryan McCluskey said, no one is the greatest athlete of all time. Sports aren't comparable, each to its own and its own GOAT. That's a good point. It is tough to back up why this person is the greatest of all the major sports because everyone's sport's so different. That's a good point. Next was Nye_Taika. Sorry. They said Wayne Gretzky was beyond dominant and changed the way ice hockey was played. Okay, so we're saying Wayne Gretzky is the greatest of all time in all the major sports. Okay. Kraft Kenneth 3 must have said no because he's saying Bo Jackson is. Again, this is going to athletic and not accolades is what I'm going with. Finally, at Phil Swain 6 says, athlete, I'd say no. but sports person probably. It's usually Jordan he goes up against. I'd love to see what Jordan would have done had he not stepped away from the sport. But Brady playing at his level, at his age, is unprecedented. I think I said that right. That was pretty bad. So thank you to everyone that did comment and not only voted, but also gave me their comments as to why they voted the way they did. Now, purpose of my job is to give my answer to why I do believe at this moment that Tom Brady is the greatest athlete of all time. And again, when I'm referring to athlete, I'm not referring to speed or anything, and I'm referring to the major sports. So hear me out. People want to sit there and say, well, Michael Jordan, he was 6-0 in the finals. This is the difference between the finals and football that I like to bring up and some people may not get. First off, Michael Jordan did not always make the finals. He just didn't. Michael Jordan was 6-0 in the NBA Finals. That's awesome. But did he sweep all of the NBA Finals? No. They had off nights. Those teams did not go 6-0 win every single game in the NBA Finals. They had off nights. They could lose a game. They could lose 3 games and still win the series. Right? Football, you have to show up for that game. You have to show up for one game. You don't get another chance. In basketball playoffs, it's series, right? You can have 3 bad games as long as you have 4 good ones and win. You can have that. You can't have a bad game in football or your season's done. You only get one chance. Super Bowl, playoffs, whatever it is, you get one chance. Football, you have to really win every game. If you lose a game, it really hurts you. Basketball, you can lose 5 games and who cares? Football, you lose 5 games, we may be in trouble. We may not make the playoffs, right? It's different. Football, when I'm looking at Tom Brady, he's been to 10 Super Bowls, won 7. This one was the most dominant of all of them. Dominated the team. I get the defense did what they did, but you still have to have a quarterback out there that goes in and leads them. And this is the effect that Tom Brady brought. He left New England, went to Tampa Bay. What happened to the Patriots? They missed the playoffs. Oh, but Ryan, they didn't have all their guys. They missed the playoffs because Tom Brady wasn't there. The Tom Brady system is real. People want to say, oh, it's Belichick. No, it's Brady. That's why they won. All those Super Bowls. It's Tom freaking Brady. You take him away from the Patriots, you put him on the Bucs, he leads them to the Super Bowl. Wins it and dominates the team he's playing against. It's unbelievable. You take away a guy, you put him somewhere else, and he still dominates. And let the record show, Tom Brady in New England took pay cuts because he wanted Belichick and the Patriots to bring players in to help win. He did not, when he went to Tampa Bay, what was it, 2-year, $50 million contract? Okay. And what did the other players do? They knew, I want to play for Tom Brady because I want to play for a winner. So what happened? Fournette took a pay cut to go be there. Antonio Brown, he took pay cuts to be there. Gronk comes back. He doesn't care how much he gets paid. He wants to win. And there was other players as well. They took pay cuts to go and play for this dude. The Tom Brady effect is real. I don't want people to think about personally, out of all the stuff, and again, I appreciate everyone. I think the argument that you can make when it comes to the argument that I'm trying to make is MJ and Tom Brady. MJ was 6-0. Or LeBron. People want to say LeBron. You take Tom Brady away. Let's look back to when Tom Brady got hurt. What happened? The Patriots missed the playoffs. What are we missing? Tom Brady is 43. And he's still dominating. I'm not going to be surprised if he plays another 3 years. Like, he is 7-3 in the Super Bowl. He has dominated every season. Like, has he made the playoffs every time he's played? Yes. Has he struggled in games? Of course. But he still led a team. The team was 7-5 at one point this season. What happened? They won 8 straight games. What else do you want from Tom Brady? I'm not talking about speed. I'm not talking about athleticism. I'm not talking about that when I'm talking about the greatest athlete of all time. I'm talking about the accolades. Yes, we can talk about Bill Russell. Fine. But that was a different era of basketball and everything. Here's the thing that people still don't get. People want to say Tom Brady's not athletic. He can't move. Dude, he has won a Super Bowl in 3 different decades. What else do you want from the guy? He is playing against the era that the NFL is in now, right? A lot of read option, a lot of more like running quarterbacks, and people want to knock Tom Brady that he doesn't run. When he was starting to play, he wasn't a runner. He wasn't a runner at Michigan. He wasn't a runner starting off with the Patriots. He wasn't a runner. It's his arm talent that finds a way to continue to win. Tom Brady has done this time and time again. He's gone from the Patriots, who you took him away. You screwed up that relationship, New England. You took him away. You missed the playoffs. Ironic? I think not. You put him on the Buccaneers, made the playoffs, led them to the Super Bowl, and won it. There's not, let's look at some of the other athletes. Michael Jordan, when he came back and played for the Wizards, they didn't even make the playoffs. Joe Montana went from the Niners to the Kansas City Chiefs, and they only made it to the AFC Championship game, and that was it. Tom Brady led him to a Super Bowl win in his first year. Granted, he only had a month with these guys before his season even started because of COVID. What else do you want? He's the greatest athlete of all time. 7 Super Bowl, a Super Bowl. You lose, you play bad in one Super Bowl. I mean, you can't play the same season. It's done. Tom Brady is the greatest athlete of all time. The effect that Tom Brady brings as a quarterback, as the leader of the Buccaneers, and as anywhere he goes, players follow. They want to play for Tom Brady.